Murli Krishna Prabhu, prayers are over?
Not yet, Prabhuji.
Oh, very good. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्य पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. By His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. We are reading from Canto 4, Chapter 23, Maharaj Prithu's Going Back to Godhead, back home. So we are in the section where we are studying text 27, right? Beautiful verse it is. Nothing is unattainable by a devotee of the Supreme Lord. Tesham durapam kim. Right. Yeah, please continue. We are in the middle of the purport.
In this verse, the word Nishkarmyam, which means transcendental knowledge, is also significant. Unless one comes to the platform of transcendental knowledge and offers devotional service to the Lord, one is not perfect. Generally, the process of jnana, yoga, and karma are executed life after life before one gets a chance to render pure devotional service to the Lord. This chance is given by the grace of a pure devotee, and it is in this way only that one can actually attain liberation. In the context of this narration, the wives of the demigods repented because although they had the opportunity of a birth in a higher planetary system, a lifetime spanning millions of years and all material comforts, they were not as fortunate as Prithu Maharaj and his wife, who were actually surpassing them. In other words, Prithu Maharaj and his wife scorned promotion to the higher planetary systems and even to Brahmaloka because the position which they were attaining was incomparable. In Bhagavad Gita 8.16, the Lord affirms, A Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravarti no Arjuna. From the highest planet in the material world to the lowest, all are places of misery, wherein repeated birth and death take place. In other words, even if one goes to the highest planet, Brahmaloka, he has to return to the miseries of birth and death. In the ninth chapter of Bhagavad Gita 9.21, Lord Krishna also asserts, Tetvam bhuktva sargalokam vishalam kshine punne martyalokam vishanti. When they have thus returned to this mortal planet again, the side is one has to come again to the lower planetary of pious activities. It is therefore said in Srimad Naishkarmyam api path of liberation is not at all secure unless one attains the devotional service of the Lord. Even if one is promoted to the impersonal Brahma Jyoti, he runs every chance of falling down into this material world. If it is possible to fall down from the Brahma Jyoti, which is beyond the higher planetary systems in this material world, then what can be said of the ordinary yogis and karmis who can only be elevated to the higher material planets? Thus, the wives of the denizens of the higher planetary systems did not very much appreciate the results of karma, jnana, and yoga. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Further, Srila Prabhupada explains that Naishkarmyam, that the transcendental knowledge, and when it comes to this transcendental knowledge, as a conclusion of this knowledge, Vedanta, one will come to devotional service. And this transcendental knowledge, now Prabhupada is going to give two explanations of this. First is, after lifetimes of such transcendental knowledge, by the mercy of Guru, one may attain Krishna. This is confirmed everywhere. Bahunam janmanamante jnanavan mam prapadyate. Right. Guru Krishna prasade पाए ब्रह्मांड भ्रमिते कौन भाग्यवान जीव Guru Krishna prasade पाए Bhakti Lata Beach, and then one gets opportunity. And if one works on that opportunity, one will attain the destination which is far beyond even attainable by those who have much higher material facilities. And this is exactly being captured by the Deva Patnis. They are saying we are the residents of the heaven, we have far higher capabilities, we have far higher facilities. But look at this, Prithu and Arci. They are surpassing all of us and ultimately going back home, back to Godhead. Right. Then Srila Prabhupada explains about the Svarga Loka. Right. Abrahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravartino Arjuna. That all these planetary systems, when we perform a lot of pious activities, go to heavenly planet, and then Tetvam Bhuktva Svargalokam Vishalam, enjoy the heavenly pleasures Vishalam. Uh, In an infinite way, one can, literally infinite way, one can enjoy the heavenly pleasures. But Kshine Punye Martyalokam Vishanti. All the bank balance is over, credit limits are finished, you are again sent back to India from your, the travel vacations, and we have to work hard again, raise the balance, and this goes on for lifetime after lifetime, and one has to again begin the new chapter of pious activities. So this is about the karma and jnana. And even Naishkarmyam means transcendental activities. So yoga also comes under the category of transcendental activities. But even these yogic activities, if they are Naishkarmyam, very beautiful verse this is. Naishkarmyam api achyuta bhava varjitam. If the Naishkarmyam is achyuta bhava varjitam, if it is devoid of devotional service, na shobhate, it will not give satisfaction. And therefore, here the wives of the demigods, Prabhupada writes, very rightly conclude that the results of karma, jnana, and yoga, they are far insufficient, right? They fall short of giving the results which are given by pure devotional service. Next, 28. So how beautifully these wives of the demigods, they are glorify Prithu Maharaja and Arci. Savanchito patatma drak Christian mahata bhuvi लब्ध्यापवर्गं मानुष्यं विषयेषु विषज्यते. Translation.
Translation: any person who engages himself within this material world in performing activities that necessitate great struggle, and who, after obtaining a human form of life, which is a chance to attain liberation from miseries, undertakes the difficult task of fruitive activities, must be considered to be cheated and envious of his own self. Purport: in this material world, people are engaged in different activities simply to achieve a little success and sense gratification. The karmis are engaged in performing very difficult activities, and thus they open gigantic factories, build huge cities, make big scientific discoveries, etc. In other words, they are engaged in performing very costly sacrifices in order to be promoted to the higher planetary systems. Similarly, yogis are engaged in achieving a similar goal by accepting the tedious practice of mystic yoga. Jnanis are engaged in philosophical speculation in order to gain release from the clutches of material nature. In this ways, everyone is engaged in performing very difficult tasks simply for the gratification of the senses. All of these are considered to be engaged in sense gratificatory activities for Vishaya because they all demand some facility for material existence. Actually, the results of such activities are temporary. As Krishna himself proclaims in Bhagavad Gita 7.23, Antavata tub phalam tesam. The fruits of those who worship the demigods are limited and temporary. Thus, the fruits of the activities of the yogi, karmis, and jnanis are ephemeral. Moreover, Krishna says, Tad bhavate alpa medhasam. They are simply meant for men of small intelligence. The word Vishaya denotes sense gratification. The karmis flatly state that they want sense gratification. The yogis also want sense gratification, but they want it to a higher degree. It is their desire to show some miraculous results through the practice of yoga. Thus, they strive very hard to achieve success in becoming smaller than the smallest or greater than the greatest, or in creating a planet like Earth, or as scientists by inventing so many wonderful machines. Similarly, the jnanis are also engaged in sense gratification, for they simply for they are simply interested in becoming one with the Supreme. Thus, the aim of all these activities is sense gratification to a higher or a lower degree. The bhaktas, however, are not interested in sense gratificatory practices. They are simply satisfied to get an opportunity to serve the Lord. Although they are satisfied in any condition, there is nothing they cannot obtain because they are purely engaged in the service of the Lord. The wives of the demigods condemn the performers of sense gratificatory activities as vanchita, cheated. Those so engaged are actually killing themselves, atmaha. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 11.20.17, Prabhuji, could you please read?
नृदेहमाद्यं सुलभं सुदुर्लभं प्लवं सुकल्पं गुरुकर्णधारं मायानुकूलेन नभस्वितारितं पुमान् भवाब्दाब्जिं न तरेत् स आत्मः.
Thank you. When one wants to cross a large ocean, he requires a strong boat. It is said that this human form of life is a good boat by which one can cross the ocean of nescience. In the human form of life, one can obtain the guidance of a good navigator, the spiritual master. One also gets a favorable wind by the mercy of Krishna, and that wind is the instructions of Krishna. The human body is the boat, the instructions of Lord Krishna are the favorable winds, and the spiritual master is the navigator. The spiritual master knows well how to adjust the sails to catch the winds favorably and steer the boat to its destination. If, however, one does not take advantage of this opportunity, one wastes the human form of life. Wasting time and life in this way is the same as committing suicide. The word labdha vapargayam is significant in this verse because according to Jiva Goswami, Aparvagayam, or the path of liberation, does not refer to the merging into the impersonal Brahman, but to Salokyadi Siddhi, which means attaining the very planet where the Supreme Personality of Godhead resides. There are 5 kinds of liberation, and one is called Sayuja Mukti, or merging into the existence of the Supreme or the impersonal Brahman effulgence. However, since there is a chance of one's falling down again into the material sky from the Brahman effulgence, Srila Jiva Goswami advises that in this human form of life, one's only aim should be to go back home, back to Godhead. The words savanchita indicate that once a person has obtained the human form of life, he is actually cheated if he does not make preparations to go back home, back to Godhead. The position of all non-devotees who are not interested in going back to Godhead is very much lamentable, for the human form of life is meant for executing devotional service and nothing else. Hare Krishna.
Any person who engages himself within this material world in performing activities that necessitates great struggle, right? And he says, and when after obtaining the human form of life, which is very, very rare opportunity to get liberation from the miseries and undertake the difficult tasks of relative activities, must be considered vanchita or cheated and envious of his own self, right? So this is how the Deva Patnis, they are condemning themselves. What did we achieve? We simply enjoyed sense gratification for so many thousands of lives, thousands of years. And here we see Maharaj Prithu and Arci perfecting their life, going back home, back to Godhead. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that how the material world, everybody is engaged in the extreme activity for some little sense gratification. Why little sense gratification? Because the praise in the material world is very, very flickering, right? Like somebody may be working extremely hard for 10th exam and they should. It is, we are talking from a different perspective. Somebody is working for the 12th exam and they should. But, the one may work very hard and the praise that I'm the school topper, I'm this topper, I'm, how long it is? Few days. Once in the material world, one's latest success is always counted. Correct. And this is the case with the, progressively with the karmis, gyanis, and yogis. Karmis, they will take extraneous activities. Recently, I was speaking to somebody who works in a merchant navy, and he is on 6 months break. They work for 182 days, 183 days, just to have that NRE status, and then 182 days they are given a break. And they say, Prabhuji, my friends, they come and they say that, मजा यार तुम्हारा 6 महीने ऐसे ही बैठ के कुछ काम nahi, but you are getting a handsome salary. And these guys get very good salary also, like 4 lakh, 3 lakh kind of a salary per month. But he says that when we work 6 months on sea, it is a hell of a work. Literally, we end up working 20, 22 hours a day out of 24 hours. So, and then drilling machines, extreme work, material world. Somebody may be working on a software project also, but there is a phenomenal pressure. I mean, when somebody is receiving money, people are going to extract work for whatever money is being awarded. So there is similarly yogis work very hard, and they are also looking for. Similarly, the Gyanis, they work very hard. But all this phalam, antavattu phalam tesham. The fruits of such extreme hard work, they are very limited and temporary. First thing is it is limited, right? Even when we worship the demigods, and demigods are praiseworthy, they are great personalities. But if we go with a sakam hetu to the demigod, how much a demigod can give? If I go to boss whose salary is 6 lakh rupees per month, and if I work under him, how much I will get? I will never get beyond 6 lakh because boss ka capacity utna hai 6 lakhs ka. Dhruva Maharaj, if he would have worshipped any demigod, what at best he would have got, right? And therefore, the results of the material worship or the worship of the demigods, first thing, they are limited. They are not unlimited results. Like Dhruva got a planet, Dhruva Loka, which is Vaikuntha, where entire material world is revolving around Dhruva Loka. Such a result one will never get by worshipping any personality, any demigod. That is one thing. Second thing, the life of the demigod itself is temporary. Except Lord Shiva, all the demigods are temporary. Correct. They live for one day of Brahma. Even Brahma is temporary. He lives for one life of Brahma. And the results are also temporary. They will last only for that long. You are a big MD of a company. Company dissolve ho gaya to kahe ka MD? Right? Automatically your post is also dissolved. Right? Therefore, the worship of the demigods, it is limited and temporary. And thus the activities, the results of the activities of the yogis, karmis and gyanis, they are very, very ephemeral. ऐसा उड़ जाते हैं कापूर की तरह. And therefore, they are not aspired for real intelligent people. Tad bhavati alpamedasam. The endeavors are same. Only endeavors are towards the same thing, sense gratification. Only the sense gratification becomes subtler and expanded in case of karmi, gyani and yogi. Karmi will work hard to enjoy himself and his family. Gyani will work hard considering Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam for everybody. I am the Trata. And Yogi will think I am the God. Right? And this is how they will, by performing intense activity, they will get results which are temporary, limited, and ephemeral. Vis-a-vis bhakti. Now look at the purport that Srila Prabhupada puts it up. Right? Bhakti susukham kartum amveyam. People mock at bhakti. Like, we have the book of Radhanath Swami Maharaj, Journey Home, where he writes, when I met Naga Babas, these people were hardcore, the practitioners of yoga and meditation, roaming around in a clothless form everywhere. Clothless form everywhere means tolerating the heat and cold and rains without clothes for years and years, without shaving. All they had, the body full of the huge beard, jata, and everything, and extreme austerity. And then Maharaj says that when I saw everybody was sitting, and one person just naturally went up by 4 feet. He had just defeated gravity. And he said that I was shocked to see that somebody just lifting himself by 3 feet, 4 feet like that in the mountains of the Himalayas. And all other Babas were very natural, very, very cool about it. It was not like something amazing thing has happened. And then other Baba went up 6 feet, another Baba went up 8 feet, and this just happened, They were just displaying their potency. And the head of the Baba, he came to that boy, Richard, and Maharaj, and he said that, you, what do you do? Hare Krishna, say Radha Krishna, Radha Krishna, Radha Krishna. Look at, this is called as the Paurusha. This is called as. So the path is mocked by others because it is so simple. And what is the result? Result is, if where it is limited, the result is unlimited. the result is permanent, right? And the result is beyond one's imagination. This is the potency of bhakti. Bhakti, the path is very simple and results are phenomenal. But unfortunately, in Kali Yuga, what happens is people are attracted by something very complex, something very new, and at the end, they are happily cheated. And they feel, okay, what, he tried his best, he tried. I mean, in the finance world, there is a one guy, what is his name? Saurabh Mukherjee, merciless. And he created one investing philosophy, coffee can investing. Maintaining around 11,000 crore rupees he was handling. And recently he just gave an interview and he said that, yeah, my investing style is dead. Coffee can investing is dead. I'm really sorry. Now you can take back your money. Within one night, 11,000 crores, people started withdrawing and it became 2,000 crore. 80% money gone in one night. So what it means is, why I'm giving this example is, sometimes something very complex may appear very wonderful, but the end result is very pathetic. And sometimes something very simple may appear very stupid. What is this? Anybody can do. Why I have to do? But the end results may be phenomenal. Somebody is going to, of course, we are not, when say giving any example, we are not against anybody or anything. Somebody may be going to gym, taking this protein shake, that protein shake, and just maintaining all parameters of the body. And somebody may be simply walking every day. 5,000 steps, 20 heart points, free app like a Google Fit or something like that. And people, oh no, I cannot do that. So how can life be so simple? I want complicated. And this is the symptom of Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga, people will want something extremely complex. Word jugglery will be considered as Panditya in Kali Yuga. And this is how Prabhupada so beautifully compares Karma, Jnana, and Yoga. They demand unlimited endeavor, extreme austerities, and results are very, very paltry. Whereas Bhakti demands, Bhakti is so chanting, dancing, feasting. Kal hamara very big day in Bhakti yesterday. What did we do? Went to temple, saw the Abhishek, chanted the names of the Lord, took prasadam, served the devotees, came back, performing unlimited advancement. Right? The simplicity of bhakti should not cheat us. And this is being lamented by Deva Patnis. Further, Srila Prabhupada writes here that after enjoying the heavenly pleasure, Swargalokam Vishalam, they fall away. And then Prabhupada says, Naishkarmyamapi Achyuta Bhavavarja. Okay. And then Prabhupada writes, this Vanchita. Why Vanchita? Because when one has got this great opportunity, Nrudeha Madhyam, Sulabham, Sudurlabham, Sulabham, very, Sudurlabham, very, very rare to attain the human form of life. One has attained Guru also, who is the Karnadhar of the boat of the human form of life. There is a favorable wind in the form of the Vedic injunctions. Quintessence of the Vedas is given to us. Upadeshamrit, Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. Right? And still, in spite of all this, if one is not able to steer the boat accordingly, then one is really Vanchita. What is Vanchita? Vanchita means those who are thoroughly cheated. That is Vanchita. And then is Atmaha. Atmaha means one is literally, it is like committing suicide. Rajandas Thakur, he writes a beautiful, song. He says, Manusya janama paya Radha Krishna na bhajiya Janiya shuniya vishakhinu. That even obtaining the Manushya Janama Paya, Radha Krishna na bhajiya Janiya shuniya vishakhinu. After knowing and everything, one is drinking poison willingly. Right? And then Prabhupada describes Apavargyam. That Apavargyam means even attaining the Apavarga in the form of Sayujya Mukti is also not considered superior. Why? Because there is always a chance. So if there is a chance of very elevated and advanced yogi to fall down, what is the speak of Karmi and Jnani? And therefore, the safest position is to become the position of all, everybody, non-devotees, who are not interested in is very, very lamentable. And therefore, the safest proper rights for the human form of life, that means executing devotional service and nothing else. Okay, look at this word, so mark this word, and nothing else. So, of course, we perform our Swadharma and all other activities, but devotional activities, devotional service to the Supreme Lord, our vows, chanting 16 rounds, reading Srimad Bhagavatam, visiting temple, those activities must take the considerable energy, and we should happily give that energy. Right? And nothing else, Prabhupada writes here. Beautiful. Text 29. Maitreya Uvacha स्तुवस्तेषु अमरस्त्रीषु पतिलोकं गतावधुः यं वा आत्मविदां धूर्यो वैन्यं प्राप्यच्युताश्रयः. Translation.
The great sage Maitreya continued speaking, My dear Vidura, when the wives of denizens of heaven were thus talking amongst themselves, Queen Arci reached the planet which her husband Maharaja Prithu, the topmost self-realized soul, had attained. Purport. According to Vedic scriptures, a woman who dies with her husband and enters into the fire in which her husband is burning also enters the same planet her husband attains. In this material world, there is a planet known as Patiloka, just as there is a planet known as Pitruloka. But in this verse, the word Patiloka does not refer to any planet within this material universe for Prithu Maharaj. For Prithu Maharaj being topmost among self-realized souls, certainly returned home back to Godhead and attained one of the Vaikuntha planets. Queen Arci also entered Patiloka, but this planet is not in the material universe, for she actually entered the planet which her husband attained. In the material world also, when the woman dies with her husband, she again unites with him in the next birth. Similarly, Maharaj Prithu and Queen Arci united in the Vaikuntha planets. In the Vaikuntha planets, there are husbands and wives, but there is no question of their giving birth to children or having sense gratificatory life. In the Vaikuntha planets, both husband and wives are extraordinarily beautiful and they are attracted to one another, but they do not enjoy the sense gratificatory life. Indeed, they consider sense gratification not to be very relishable because both husband and wife are always absorbed in Krishna consciousness and in glorifying and chanting the glories of the Lord. According to Bhaktivinoda Thakur, also the husband and wife can turn the home into a place as good as Vaikuntha, even while in this material world. Being absorbed in Krishna consciousness, even in this world, husband and wife can live in Vaikuntha simply by installing the deity of the Lord within the home and serving the deity according to the directions of the Shastras. In this way, they will never feel the sense gratification urge. That is the test of advancement in devotional service. One who is advanced in devotional service is never attracted to the sense gratification life. And as well as one becomes detached from this life and proportionality attached to the service of the Lord, he actually experiences living in the Vaikuntha planets. In the ultimate issue, there is actually no material world, but when one forgets the service of the Lord and engages himself in the service of his senses, he is said to be living in the material world.
Maitreya Uvacha. So we will just take 2 more minutes. Anyway, it's holiday for everyone. 1st May. Maitreya Uvacha. So Maitreya Muni said, Stutivat. So just like this much Stuti kar rahe the, Amara Strishu, the wives of the demigods, these three, Patilokam Gatam Vadhu. Vadhu here is Arci. Arci Maharajni, she obtained Patilokam, obtained the loka of the Pati. Yam va Atmavidam Dhuryo Vainyam Prapya Achyutashraya. Where the Pati is Vainya, the son of the Vena. He Prapya Achyutashraya, he attained the Achyutashraya, he attained the Vaikuntha planet, and that Patilokam was attained by Maharajni Arci. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that Yam Yam Vapi Smaran Bhavam Tyajati Ante Kalevaram. Because here in this case, Arci Maharani, she was intensely absorbed in the thoughts of her husband. Whatever she was absorbed, where the husband went, the wife naturally went to that place. Right? So, as such, there is, like Pitru Loka, there is also Pati Loka here in this material world. But in this case, Pati Loka here means the Loka, I mean, that beautiful Sanskrit, that Pati's Loka, or the Pati Loka itself. So she went to the place, the Loka, which is obtained by Pati. So this is how. Now, which is the Loka obtained by Prithu Maharaj? Achyuta Prapya Achyuta Ashraya. Prithu Maharaj sitting in the Vaikuntha planets, sitting in the Vaikuntha aeroplane, he went to Vaikuntha planet. And similarly, the same Pati Loka was obtained by the Patni also, the Vadhu also here in this case. So the beauty here is it is being explained. While the Amar Strishu were glorifying the Vadhu like this, she obtained the Vaikuntha Loka. That is Pati Loka Achyuta Praptya Ashraya. Right. Further, Srila Prabhupada writes uh, that the husband and wife. So it is not that in the spiritual world everybody is a brahmachari. No, spiritual world there are husbands and wives, and we have seen the elaborate description of these husbands and wives in the second canto of Bhagavatam. And they are just like here, husband and wife have their own flat and they have their own car. Somebody may have some Kia Karens, or somebody may have some Innova or something like that. In the spiritual world also, there are pairs of husbands and wives, and they have their own golden aeroplanes, and they are moving around across the Vaikuntha planets. And there is infinite happiness in the spiritual world. What is the zenith of material happiness in the material world is, because the world is, the material world itself is urdhva moolam adashakam ashvatham prahuravayam, right? What is at the top in the material world is actually at the bottom in the spiritual world, right? That's why in the reflection it will look at the top. So the pleasure of the sense gratification here being mentioned, the pleasure of the sex life between the husband and wife, which is considered as the topmost in the material, one of the material pleasures is considered, eventually fades away to attract a devotee. Tushtu nishthi cha, Yamunacharya says this. And one can say this also, in one's own life, it has to be age appropriate, needless to say. After enjoying in a prolonged way, one will develop a complete detachment or distaste for the life of sense gratification. Later, we'll have the pastime of Yayati and Devayani Sharmishtha. And Yayati, he speaks the verses, and there this topic will come even more elaborately. But the point is that, the the material pleasure, it is very flickering and temporary, right? And to the degree one is, Srila Prabhupada quotes here Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Prabhupada quotes here, needless to say, Bhaktivinoda Thakur had 14 children, right? And and he was a very, very responsible grahastha. He had a very, very high post, and he used that post and position in the government service to influence and spread Krishna consciousness everywhere. Extreme ideal example of a grahastha life is Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that when I come home, when I see my wife and children and the Supreme Lord being worshipped at the center of the home, it is none less than Grihete Bhajana Dekhi Golok Bhaya. It is very non-different than the Golok Vrindavan my house is. Right. So to the degree a couple is in the service of divine couple, the couple's life becomes divine. And thus the lower pleasures will not attract. See, one point of time we thought of how can I give up onion and garlic? This was like a big thing to stop onion and garlic, right? Because we never knew any taste which exists beyond onion and garlic, right? And we never knew that we can prepare chappan bhog, we can have. Always give example. When we invited by one devotee on Ekadashi day prasadam, and on Ekadashi day, this couple had made 108 items of Ekadashi only out of shabudana and varai and milk. Can you imagine? So So we never knew that there is an enjoyment beyond onion garlic. Of course, we are not against onion garlic. But the point is, similarly, in the material platform, we do not know the pleasure which is beyond the regular pleasure of ahar, nidra, bhaya, maithunam cha. And therefore, one may feel little scared. Oh, bapre, pleasure nahi hai. No, there is far superior pleasure where this kind of pleasure may appear very distasteful. Like sometimes we tell people, chalo, they said that, oh, we want to give you party. Then they say, yeah, you have to give us party in Govinda because we don't eat outside. And say, what is Govinda? They say, why don't you eat outside? Because we don't eat onion garlic. And they are scared. They said that we'll go to Govinda. And there is, without onion garlic, कुछ taste आएगा क्या? Without onion garlic, life में कुछ taste है? So similarly, karmis have the same idea that party hard, without drinking, eating, drinking, and the night life. Is there any taste in the life? Because param bhava jananto. Prabhupada says because they are not aware of the higher pleasure which is there in devotional service. And there is pleasure in devotional service. Just imagine the activities devotees are doing, chanting 16 rounds, right? Tell me any activity that we have done so consistently, it takes every day 2 hours. And there are devotees who are chanting for 30 years, 20 years, 25 years, 15 years, 10 years, 5 years. Any other activity which we have done 2 hours a day for 5 years continuously or 10 years continuously without any apparent benefit, if there is no taste in devotional life, there is no other activity. This itself shows our life is own testimony that there is taste. So again, putting the things in the context, dharmo aviruddha bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshava. That attraction towards the life of sense gratification, more grossly to say the sex life, it has to be according to the couple. It's a very very personal. Of course, the topic is extremely personal, but the point is, by reading such purport, by taking some inspiration from here, one between the two, between the couple, either husband or wife cannot become excessively detached, thinking that, oh, I am beyond now, I am transcending or I am advancing. The standard is always between lowest of the two, right? And this is how one has to slowly raise, and this will be very beautifully addressed in Yayati, Devayani, and Sharmistha. That pastime will come very later, it will come, couple cantos later. In the ultimate issue, Prabhupada writes, there is nothing called as material world. Yeah, there is nothing called as cold electricity. Electricity is electricity. When it is used in the refrigerator, it becomes cold. When it is used in the heater, it becomes hot. But electricity is electricity. Similarly, there is nothing called as material world because it's energy of the Lord. When it is used spiritually, it will become spiritual world. And Srila Prabhupada was famous for this, turning material, a part of the material world into spiritual world. So we will conclude here and continue tomorrow. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, everyone. Recently, I was taking the sport feedback, and one very strong feedback I received from many devotees is that, Prabhuji, when it is Chutti ka din, you can always go 5-10 minutes. We can always go 5-10 minutes extra because it's anyway a holiday. So I took that liberty. And we'll conclude here and continue tomorrow.
प्रभु
Srila
जी एक प्रश्न
Prabhupada
होता
ki jai. Yes, Prabhu.
So this question is based on the story of Ajamin, you know. So that guy has break all the four regulative principles and he did all the bad things, to
Right.
the highest possibility. And he chanted the name of his son Narayana unconsciously, okay, not consciously like the way we do, like 16 round, 4 round, whatever it may be. We do it consciously, but that guy did it unconsciously. Okay, there was no intention of chanting the name of the Lord, but somehow he got that one chance. When the Yamuduta came, he got the one chance. Isn't it unfair, Prabhuji? Because that guy did all the possibilities, highest possibilities of bad things, and you're just letting him go. Yeah, just acha tune kar liya. Okay, you take this reward. But why I'm asking this question? This might give encouragement to people to do further bad things. And अरे हाँ हम कर लेंगे, and we are getting freed away. You
Right.
got my
True.
point, right?
Correct. Correct. Yeah. Gaurang Prabhu puts it very secondly. He said that once a boy came and he said that, Prabhuji, my role model is Achamit. And he said that, everybody, how come Achamit is your role model? Said, what a life he led. He led a
True.
life. He enjoyed materially to the highest extent. At the time of death, just a trigger point pe, gun pe, Krishna. He said that just chanted the names, Khadak, and just went. So he enjoyed materially also, enjoyed spiritually also. Barabar. Na?
True. Very true.
Yeah, very true. Very true. So, what the understanding is, there are many things. One thing is Srimad Bhagavatam, when Bhagavatam emphasizes potency of bhakti, purity of bhakti, the capability of bhakti, Bhagavatam will give extreme example. Extreme
Okay.
example, just like you say that such a good teacher, such a good teacher. कैसे कितना good teacher? He was a duffer. He was failed in every year. पहली में एक साल, दूसरी में 2 साल, तीसरी में 3 साल करके he became a Buddha at the age of 60 he came. But such a teacher, he just did 3 months of class of this teacher and he ranked all India one in JE. छोड़ो बाप रे क्या टीचर है, right? So Bhagavatam will, to emphasize bhakti, Bhagavatam will give extreme example. Such a rogue like Ajamil, such a briefly he attained Vaikuntha. So here Bhagavatam is not glorifying the rogue life, the night life of Ajamil. Bhagavatam is glorifying the potency of devotional service. This is the first thing. Okay. So Bhagavatam
Okay.
examples
Okay.
are quite extreme. It's not over. This is only one part. Second thing
Okay.
is, second thing is, we think that, Ajamil, Narayan, and, the Yamudu, the Vishnu Dutta, he heard all that and everything, and, no. After that, Ajamil wake up to the senses. He said, Arey, what has happened? What Sambhashanam did I see? Was it real? Or was it, my dream? And where these 4 people gone? Where are these 3 Yamadutas gone? And their purport, one Acharya writes there, because the word Narayana has 4 letters, Narayana, therefore 4 Vishnudutas arrived. And when the devotees of the Lord they chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Just imagine how many Vishnudutas will arrive. There will be traffic jam of Vishnudutas. Right? Okay.
Okay. Okay.
This is the side point. This is the side point of Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay. Chalo, let's move on. So then, so then he just lamented his life. He says that, what did I do? What opportunity I had? And Bhagavatam, same Bhagavatam describes Ajamil as Gunalayam. He was the abode of all the good qualities. Right? Bhagavatam is very precise. Ashwatthama ko always, Brahman bhi nahi kehte Ashwatthama ko. He says Brahma Bandhu, Dvija Bandhu. And here, the same Bhagavatam describes Ajamil as Gunalayam, abode of all the good qualities. कैसे नजर लग गया अजामिल को? And then he's repenting, lamenting, and then he went to Haridwar, performed 12 years of intense austerity and in Bhakti Yoga, devotional service, chanting the holy names on the banks of Ganga. The same 4 Vishnudutas arrived and took him back to Godhead. So Ajamil did not go back home back to Godhead without doing sadhana.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, this is second thing. Third thing is material enjoyment. Now this is deeper. Material enjoyment is actually a misery. This we have to realize, right? See, sometimes, we feel that, Arey, kya, what a life is enjoying. No, even, of course, we have very great regards to that family. Just to give an example, extreme example, where I'm taking these names, that even Nita Ambani and Akash Ambani is also suffering, right?
Okay.
When your team is losing 6 matches out of 8 matches, miserable loss, you are suffering. The misery that you and me we don't have, because we don't have that much money to buy Mumbai Indians. These people have. They. So what we have to realize, Bhagavatam says, is that even the so-called material happiness is also misery, right? Have
Yes.
you had the experience of, going for a shopping and, you're going for, one shop after another, whole day shopping, and, you come home distraught, and then you feel that, "Ah, thank God the shopping is over." So many times, correct? So we see our one conclusion is very pakka that, there is material happiness. But Bhagavatam says, look beyond. The so material misery is the misery, everybody is convinced, right? But even the
Correct.
material happiness is also misery. And not just it is from the theoretical point of view or just from the experience point of view, ki, misery, not like that. It is a misery because ultimately it is going to, material happiness is only going to keep us away from the process of devotional service.
Correct.
बराबर है.
Correct.
So, artho जिज्ञासुर अर्थार्थी ज्ञानी च भरतर्षभ. So we have to realize this thing. We have to eventually realize that the so-called material happiness is actually I'm struggling only. In the material life, I'm struggling only. I'm thinking I'm enjoying my material life, but it's a struggle only. Struggle only thing in a different desha kala patra, and therefore it looks happiness. But ultimately, from the ultimate perspective, it remains a struggle only. So Ajamil, now look at the life of Ajamil. He was a plunderer, he was, looting, doing this and doing that. Do you think it's a happy life?
No, no.
No. Like somebody is like a Naxalite. Ajamil is like Naxalite, you can say. Okay. Living in the jungles, gun life, no rules, no regulation. Do you think it's a happy life? Naxal life is
No.
extreme misery, right? Do you think the life of, of course, we have great regard for this family. They are a very devotional family also. Mukesh Ambani has a, Antilia. His bed is oriented in such a way that as soon as he gets up, first thing he has the darshan of Mahalakshmi ji. Okay, in Bombay. So it's a very devotional family. But the point is that with that kind of wealth, ultimately what they are doing, they have misery of different proportion and caliber, which looks like happiness. बराबर है ना? You are sipping
Correct.
the tea with Rohit Sharma, Hardik Pandya and few other people sitting and thinking that why did we lose? Ultimately, Baba, you lost only.
Yes.
Correct. And therefore, we may think that, Ajamil, but Ajamil actually did not enjoy his life. Ajamil actually suffered throughout his life. And sometimes, devotees also have decided. Sometimes I also used to feel, अरे यार ज्यादा ही डिवोटी बन गए जल्दी लाइफ में यार कुछ लाइफ एंजॉय नहीं किया आराम से बनते ना डिवोटी अजामिल भी बना डिवोटी एंड में डिवोटी बना मस्त लाइफ भी एंजॉय किया बट what people enjoyed the life is actually misery is actually suffering. And jab jago tab savera. When Ajamil came back to senses, he performed very intense life. Tivrena bhakti yogena. By the mercy of Guru and Krishna, Guru Krishna Prasade Pai, if we come to, the realization in our 20s, in our 30s, Prahlad Maharaj says, better when you are 5. Kaumaram acharet pragyo. Right? Look at the life of Prahlad, Bechar, such a small kid. From the birth, he's suffering only. बराबर है ना सो
And
भागवतम gives
even
you all examples.
Sant Jnaneshwar also at the age of
हाँ संत
16
ज्ञानेश्वर
samadhi घेतली.
हाँ संत ज्ञानेश्वर also suffered throughout his life when he was in 10th standard 16 year
Yes.
started writing Bhagavatam Bhagavad Gita Jnaneshwari at the age of 21 समाधि 10th year मतलब अपना बच्चा 10th पास है प्रभु जी बराबर है ना
Correct.
yeah so Hare Krishna right thank you very much.
Yeah. So other side of the story, people also should know, Prabhuji, which no one knows.
Other side of the story we should know and also
Yes.
so then what happens then we really feel that थोड़ा लूज करते हैं भक्ति आराम से करेंगे क्या है इतना मतलब भक्त बन गए हैं and then we may lose our intensity right like somebody may say why papa you just made me billionaire at the birth only let me be थोड़ा सा हमाली कर लेता थोड़ा सा झाड़ू बीड़ू मारता गटर साफ कर लेता तो धीरे धीरे पैसे कमाता that is ज्ञान मार्ग right that is exactly kleshu adhikatarastesham avyaktasakta chetasam. So we should be very happy that we have become devotee in a right age, and Ajamil would have been very happy becoming Hare Krishna devotee. Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
for
Thank
the
you,
detailed
Prabhupada.
explanation, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thanks to first me. We have time. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhupada.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, Prabhuji. Thank you, everyone. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhupada.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.